Last week, Procreate flew me from the US to London to go hands-on with Procreate Dreams, their new animation app for the iPad. While I was there, I got to see all the sights that London had to offer, like their transit system, a guy playing with his balls, a Piccadilly Circus street fight, and this dude who is obviously channeling his inner Goku and fighting a fountain statue. But I'm not here to tell you about that or what happened to the handle of this vacuum. Instead, we're here to talk about Procreate Dreams, so let's go inside and take a look. So Procreate Dreams is an all-new iPad app from Savage Interactive, and when I say all new, it means this is not an update to Procreate, it's its own separate app. It's going to release on November 22nd with a one-time purchase price of $19.99. That's right, there's no subscription. Pay the $19.99 once, and that's it, you're done. The other thing a lot of people were worried about leading up to this announcement was AI. And I'm here to tell you there are no AI creation tools, nor is there any data harvesting to feed image diffusion models. Savage Interactive is definitely on the side of artists in the AI battle. But I'm sure you already know all this if you watched the keynote or saw some other creator videos, so let's talk to one of the Savage employees and get a hands-on look at Procreate Dreams. This is Will. Will works for Procreate. Will is cool.
Oh, yeah.
Will here, walk us through Procreate Dreams.
We'll do a little bit of a round trip. Here's the gallery. So if you've used Procreate before, Procreate Dreams is a very similar gallery setup. We've got our different movies here, or we can hit the plus button and create from some predefined presets, or we will be able to get into the nitty-gritty of how we want to set up those files when we make them. At the moment, for this build, we'll just pick an empty project. This will give us a very empty stage. We've got the stage up the top. This is where we can create things. And down the bottom, we have the timeline where we can cut things up and move things around. What I might do is split. So or about arranging the things that we've created or brought in and editing them and stuff. Along here we've got the gallery button, so that'll take us back to where we were. Here we can name our movie, so just on the namespace, Untitled Movie is a pretty original name. We've got frames per second, dimensions, stage, export options, timeline options, all the things that you kind of want to mess with behind the scenes, nothing to do with the creation of the thing itself.
And I'm going to interrupt Will for a minute so we can take a closer look at some of these menus and settings. First up, we have the Properties tab where we can adjust the frames per second. We've got a frame by frame, 12 frames a second, an anime option with 15 frames, cinema with 24, television with 30, PAL with 50, NTSC with 60, and finally a 120 frames per second mobile option. Next up is the duration, and then the X and Y dimensions of our project we can change, as well as a volume slider to adjust the audio levels. Next up, we have the Stage tab with its options, followed by the Timeline tab, where you can loop, ping pong, or just one-shot your animation. Next is the Share tab, which gives us different export options, as well as custom settings. Here, we can go ahead and select the video codec, and we've got a ton of different ProRes options. You can also select the format of what you're exporting, rescale the size of your project output, select MOV or MP4 for the file type, adjust the video bitrate with a max setting of 10,000 kilobits per second, and the audio bitrate with a 320 kilobit per second max with a linear PCM and AAC option as well. Finally, we have our Preferences tab where we can play our project on a second screen. If we happen to have our iPad connected to a monitor, we can change the number of undo steps up to 1,000. And then the rest of these other changes available that you can really just kind of customize things to fit your own personal workflow and how you like things set up. Okay, now back to Will.
Oh, yeah.
We got a play button. Not much happening at the moment. We got a dot there. Next along is the Perform button. And this is whatever element we're on at the time. In this case, our blue dot. Whatever we choose to do to edit that, whether it's a rotation or a scale or an effect or whatever we do to it, is done with a direct input of our device, and we'll get automatic keyframes appear, which will follow that very we're only running at 12 frames per second on this, so we've got looks like a bit of a fly. But if I go back, jump in here, properties, bring this up to 60 frames a second. We'll do that same thing again. Get a bit of a smoother little guy. We're also going to have some smoothing options when it comes to how we perform things. So in case you want to get rid of a little bit of jitter in your natural movement, but you still want to be able to move things around organically. So that's pretty cool. And it's not just moving things around, we can perform rotations as well. And you can start layering these performances until you get crazy things. This is a bit of a very simplistic demonstration of that. Timeline select is the next one. So in here helps us select things, move things around, chop things up. And drawing mode is the next one. Drawing mode is very similar to, I guess, Procreate, except on a frame specific basis. So if I make a new track, bring the playhead back to the start, I'm in drawing mode, and then I'll pick a color, maybe a nice bright orange. I just have to start painting and I fill out this track. It's just a single image that goes all the way across. That's one way to create frames, or I can get in here, get into Flipbook. Is more akin to what people might be familiar with animation assist, except so if I draw a dot, go to the next frame, draw a dot. We also have onion skins that we can turn on and off. Add frames. So if I have things in the way and I need a frame in between here, I can just add a frame there and work forward. So the only difference, obviously, with Animation Assist on Procreate and this is we can have tracks on tracks, and we don't have to work within the confines of groups to have layered animations and things of the sort. And we have audio now too, so we can drag audio clips in and cut audio clips and move things around. Much like Aaron Blazer's masterpiece that's going on just here. All done in Dreams.
Everything on the outside here,
yeah, this is
not
just
going to show up. I noticed earlier that you can draw out there, but it's not going to show up on the actual.
So if we have a monster blob or blobs, and then we'll get out of drawing mode, we can turn that background on and off if we need to be able to see what's going on. And if we're in drawing mode, turning the background on and off will give us a bit more view of, especially when we're dealing with transparent space, and it might obscure our view a bit. We'll just leave it on for now. So we're on that element, little squirrely guy that goes on for however many frames. We'll turn drawing mode off so that we can select this thing. And if we drag from a node, we're going to scale it. If we drag from outside or inside, we're going to move it around. But yeah, we can have things off to the side, put him here, add a keyframe, move and scale, go across, add another one, and then bring that thing in. Now we've got this, or we'll set that initial move and scale keyframe, hit perform, and then when we do move and scale, it'll lay down keys automatically to follow that movement. So it's any action that we want to perform in Dreams can be performed essentially. Oh, most actions. Never say all. Yeah. But that's a bit of a general rundown. Any one of these frames, this guy's, I'll turn that one off. Any one of these individual frames, like I said, is if we go back into drawing mode, these are all layered artworks as well. So we can get a different color and just add to that frame. We have blend modes as well, so we can. All of the Procreate painting and drawing stuff is in here. There's a bit of connective tissue between the two products as well, so which will improve over time. At the moment, we can create an animation assist in Procreate, export that as a Procreate file, and then drag that straight in here, and it will come in as an animation, which is awesome. If anyone's got any animation assist work that they've done and they've gone, oh, I wish we had audio in animation assist, you can just drag that Procreate file into Dreams and then start adding your audio. So no lost work there. That's great. I get blown away every time I see Nico's stuff. It's crazy. Yeah, I can run you through some of it more keyframe stuff. This is starting to get a bit messy, but so I'll grab all these guys. Get these guys too. Well, what I'll do is okay. So I do have a demo that Lowell from home, Lauren put together, which is awesome. And it involves quite a bit. I can just run through that. It takes about 5 minutes. Yeah. So we'll draw a sun on our main stage, and then I'll turn the background off for this. At about the same distance, I'll draw a moon. It's a bit rubbish, but you get the idea. And then on a new track, make a new track. Got to pick a nice grey. Just add some. Make sure I'm on paint tool. Draw some mountains. Maybe a couple of different tones of mountains. And then on a new track, I'm just going to pick a nice green and colour drop in, and I'll change the blend mode, that to be multiply. I don't want it all over the sky, so I can take that track and I can clip it to the contents of this underlying track. So now we have a nice green. That's a bit fluorescent, I might. Yeah, it's a bit better. And then so I've got clipping masks on the timeline as well. We've got full layer support with our painting of our frames, and I want to grab is that our sun and moon? Yeah, we'll grab our sun and moon, and I'm going to add a couple of. Oh, this is quite long. Just going to shorten the video here. Actually, 3 seconds is fine. That's fine. Okay. I'm going to make a keyframe at the very start for our moon, which is hidden. And I've drawn, you can see here with the bounding box is suggesting I've drawn a little bit out of it. So I'm going to go back into drawing mode, get my eraser out. Just get rid of that. Okay. That's a bit better. So the element we've got there, add a keyframe, move. Maybe get to halfway, another one. And to that second keyframe that we have there, I'm going to tap on this. That'll bring up a little rotational node. We can move that around. It's not the best. And then what we'll do is we'll get to the end, add another keyframe. And if we want to tap on the specific keyframe and bring up some more in-depth options, we can do that. So we can do that in a couple of ways. We can just tap on the keyframe itself, which will bring up this underlying keyframe track, but only on the ones that we have there. If we want to show all, we have to tap and hold on the element itself, and then show all keyframes, and that will bring up this same thing. Then we can tap on the keyframe itself, and let's rotate 360. We'll just make sure that that's right. Yeah, good. It's not doing some weird, yeah. We do have, in between the keyframes, we can tap on that track, and it's disabled for this build, I'm sorry. I would like to show you some easing and things like that, but that's okay. So we've got the sun going around. The green clipping mask that we had attached to our mountains, when the sun comes up, green's a pretty sensible colour, but we'll add a filter HSB keyframe at the start. By the time the moon comes up, somewhere in the middle, we'll add another HSB, and we'll bring the saturation down, brightness down, maybe make it a bit more blue. Might bring our background back so that we've got something to look at. Maybe make it a grey or something. And then I just need it to go back to green at the end, so our clipping mask layer, move to the end, filter, HSB. What I could do, if I go back to before I made that middle one, 2-finger tap to undo any of the nonsense. If I just go to the end before I mess that middle bit up, HSB. Now I've got a keyframe at the start and the end. Makes a bit more sense. Get to my moon. Then I can add the blue one. Make it nighttime. Cool. So we've got quite a few things going on there, but most of these surface level things gets a bit deeper if you want to make it, go a bit deeper. Unfortunately, in this build, we have some tools that have been unplugged, but most of the creation tools, drawing, smudge, erase, layers, are there for people to play with. Whenever drawing mode is on, we can move into this flipbook mode, which is a full screen creation keyframing mode. Or if we're operating on the timeline, we can tap the playhead to create keyframes or to edit our clip. At the moment we've got cut and slide, but much more to come. And that's about it. The plus button that we didn't really look at, we can add new tracks. Text will be in there. I think it's disabled for this build, unfortunately. And masks, import from files and photos, so we can import video and audio tracks from here, or we can, in split view, we will be able to just drag them in and drop them on the timeline as well. So it's getting stuff in here is pretty chill. Yeah, it's not too complicated, just throw it in, drag it in. Persistent undos is great. We can go back, go to a different file, play around, and come back. And our persistent undos is one of those things that we will be able to try and jettison if your file type's getting too massive and you need to make a bit of space, or if you like huge files and keep it around. Obviously, things on being offloaded, new file types that we are talking about is going to be negating a bit of that concern. If there's anything I've missed, I'm pretty sure the website's been updated today. There's going to be some cool stuff on there for people to look at. Do you have any questions about it?
I mean, I know eventually.
Yeah.
Once I get into it, but yeah, that is amazing.
It's super cool, man. It's super exciting. Yeah, the team back home has been going bananas, putting everything into it, and it's wicked. Super small team, 70 people, but everyone there punches above their weight, and they're doing awesome stuff. It's really nice to share it with people.
I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Now, Procreate Dreams, it does have the option for traditional frame-by-frame animation using the flipbook, and it's also got the ability to use the onion skins to help you draw each frame over the last. But for me, I'm more excited about the performing option in Dreams. Personally, I've never got into animation that much because of the time sink that comes with hand drawing everything frame by frame. So for example, let's say you're making an animation at 24 frames a second. That's 240 separate drawings for just a 10-second clip. The way I approach my art business, I'd rather take that time to draw 240 different things that I could then sell separately, whether it be through print on demand or coloring books or in a clip art capacity. It's really never made financial or time management sense for my business to dive into animating because of that, but the performing tool in Dreams is going to wildly change the time needed to do a lot of those basic things that would take much longer if you went the traditional route. So this is a clip I made at the Procreate event using the performance option. Unfortunately, I was not one of the creators who got beta access, nor do I have it now. So this is just what I came up with during the limited time I had there, and I'll try to walk you through the process of how I made it without having it directly in front of me. So keep this in mind too. If you have any questions, I don't have beta access. I don't have this on my iPad, so everything that I know is limited to what I saw there. I basically used the same performing process in this that was used to make the flying witch clip that you might have seen in some of the promotional footage. In the witch clip, the overall movement of the witch and the movement of the hat and the broom and the dress, the hair, etc., that wasn't made with frame-by-frame animation. It was done through performing and using the warp option. So for something like this, each animated piece is a separate layer, so I drew everything except the snow in Procreate as a separate layer and then imported it all into Dreams. And don't mind the extra scarf. I initially had it going the wrong direction for the way the wind was blowing the hair, so I had to flip that, but then I split it into two pieces to make the animation a little bit more dynamic. I selected the layer I wanted to add motion to, pressed the record button, and then wiggled the pencil on the screen to give the motion I wanted. Then I repeated the process for each layer I wanted to animate. It's very, very basic, but it really kind of gives you an idea of what's possible with Dreams. Now, the snow is where drawing outside of that main frame in the stage really comes into play. I drew a huge vertical section of snow above my main image, and then I dragged it down over that main frame with some side-to-side movement as I recorded. After spending a little time with Procreate Dreams and getting a feel for it, realizing what it's capable of and seeing what you can make in a very short amount of time, I'm starting to see the possibilities of how I could use animation in my own art business, and I see other artists using it too. I really think Procreate Dreams could lead to a surge of new animated short form content on platforms like YouTube through Shorts, through TikTok, and through Instagram Reels. With the right content and the right following, monetization through ad revenue could turn this content into a new income stream. Or if you already have an established art business, using the animation as a marketing tool or using it in promotional materials will be super, super cool. I think with how much time it saves and how intuitive this app is, we're really going to see a flood of exciting new animated content over the next year or so. Okay, that's it for my first impressions of Procreate Dreams and the roundup of my London trip to Playgrounds in Motion 2023. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think about Procreate Dreams? How excited are you? What do you think of that price point, the no subscription, the no AI? Let me know down below and feel free to ask me any questions, but keep in mind, I don't have beta access. I don't have this on my iPad, so I might not have the answer. Anything that I learned over there, though, I can share with you. That being said, no, I don't know what iPads are going to be supported or what file sizes of the projects or the exported files are going to be. There's still a lot left unanswered before we get to that release date. But yes, after the release, I will be doing a ton of Procreate Dreams tutorials here on the channel, so definitely stay tuned for those and subscribe if you haven't. As for me, I can be found online, bjdell.com, and on all the social medias at bjdell. And that's it for today's video. As always, I appreciate you guys watching, and until next time, keep creating.